We are back to talk the second half of Star Trek Prodigy Season 2. That's episodes 11 through 20. What an amazing series. There's a lot of surprises, and there will be some things that may be spoilery if you haven't finished it. So, yes, there are spoilers. I love that. That's amazing. Spoilers! Just be aware. So if you haven't finished Star Trek Prodigy, the second half of season 2, be sure to go finish that and then come back to us. So make sure you put a favorite or however that works on YouTube and such, and then come back. But of course, I am joined with my good buddies, VHS Jace, Jason Roy Gaston, my friends, Jason. How are you guys? I am excited to be talking with you about Prodigy.
I'm feeling particularly Jason-y today.
Oh, that's always good. That means we're in for some fun. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Jason?
Oh, right. Yeah, look, it was I'm looking forward to talking about the second half, which got some interesting twists and turns.
Yeah, I felt the second half was stronger, personally. But we'll get into it episode by episode. I think we're going to have a little disagreement. Agree to disagree.
I think it was very strong, but I do think that the back end of this second half did drag. It's almost like they ran out of story and had to stretch out a couple of episodes. And there was some filler that I wasn't particularly into, but it's cool. I would still take multiple more seasons of this series because it was just fantastic.
Very good. There was an epilogue that was basically a nice stitch, so to speak, to some other treks. So we'll get into that later, and be sure to stick around for that because the stitches are amazing. So it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. So let's hop into the first episode. Are we ready? The last flight of the Protostar. Jason Roy Gaston, if you please, the synopsis.
Thanks to Wesley Crusher's timely intervention, the cadets find the Protostar, but the ship's marooned guardian isn't eager for their assistance.
Ooh. It's the last flight of the Protostar. VHS Jace, what do we think?
Wow, grumpy Chakotay.
Yeah.
He's not very pappy at the moment. It's like, bruh. Settle down.
Oh, no.
Settle down.
No.
But look.
I love it.
There were some fun things in it. There were some really dumb things in this episode too that I didn't like. So I'm going to start it off with what I didn't like.
Okay.
And that was Chakotay. He's not fun in this episode at all. It was just it just seemed like he was overdoing it in the whole thing. And is he coming back or what the fuck is he doing?
Oh, he's just being hyper dramatic.
Is he being ultra, or am I pausing the recording right now?
I think he's being ultra.
Yes,
dramatic.
I'm being recording.
Ruin my drama.
It's gone past. Oh my! I'll just sit here and hang out. I'll wait for him.
Waiting music.
No. Look, there are a couple of things I didn't like. Where did he get that cowboy hat? It just annoyed me. Didn't look cool and seemed anti the culture he's from. The other thing is, the DeLorean move. It was such a steal from that truck is the DeLorean, right?
Yes.
It can do the moves. I didn't mind the action scene too much. I'm being over the top. The other thing is Dow proves his worth yet again in another episode, which was a bit annoying too. But there are some good things in it. Beverly Crusher for a start. We got to see Beverly Crusher in this episode, which was really a lot of fun. And that's all I've got to say. Jason, you may return now.
I like this episode.
He gave him the crickets.
I like this episode. I have to agree. I think Chakotay was a little bit of I don't want to say a downer, but I will say, I don't know. His PTSD seemed more of just Chakotay being just a jerk more than anything else. It's like, oh, you're here to rescue me? Okay. We can't leave because the Protostar will destroy everything. Oh, we fixed that. I still don't want to leave. Everyone's dead. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit too much. Everything else I didn't mind. I don't know. Just Beltran is always just one note throughout this whole thing. It's either like Chakotay down, Chakotay up, but it's always within this little thin Chakotay line that's always right there. And it kind of annoys me. I'll say again, I think that the series would have been better if it had been Captain Kim instead of Captain Chakotay, or Captain Tuvok instead of Chakotay, just because they're better characters.
I can't disagree with that. I got to say, I really dug the planet that they were living off of. That was like an island. Everything was out to kill everybody, which I thought was kind of cool. Despite the way that it was trying to kill everybody, it kind of gave you some stakes. It was like, okay, something bad could happen any point in time here, so let's make sure that we get this right. So I did really appreciate that. The Back to the Future 3 ship thing that they had going on, that's 1,000%. But too, because it was all messed up and everything. Yeah, totally get that. And they're like clugging along through space, and they have to like jump it, the old-fashioned way, kind of like if you ever watched that Sunshine, I think it was Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or it's a Steve Carell movie where they have this like beetle bug, and like it's stick shift, so they have to like push it first.
Little Miss Sunshine,
yes.
Okay,
so that kind of had like that vibe.
Wow.
It's like, sorry. I have many references, but I can't remember fully, so it's like it's in my brain, but it's just not coming out.
To Joe's references is kind of like this.
Yeah, that's great. But I still like that our Vulcan was present for all of the first half. I think that she's a fantastic addition to the show and to the characters that we have, and they get off the planet. So let's continue to episode 2. 12.
Just moving straight to episode 2. I was going to say something then, but that's fine, Joe. You just keep pushing it along.
No. Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to kind of back up what you were saying about the Vulcan. I think she's really strong, and I think she does add a lot of worth to the crew. And I really like the fact that she's part of a show that looks like will not be renewed. But yeah, I also wanted to say, look, all my complaints. It's the worst episode I've seen of the series so far, like I'll talk about, but even the worst is a lot better than what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't like Majel.
I know.
I don't like her. I'm sorry. I think that it's the voice actress, and I don't like singling out an actor or an actress just specifically, but all the other, and I said this last week, all the other characters speak naturally. Her voice actress speaks as though she's doing a character. And it just makes her feel like she sticks out to me.
It sucks when it doesn't land for you. Some performances don't land for you.
Yeah, but that's Michelle Dietz.
I like it. I will be honest with you. The voice lands with me okay.
Yeah, everything fits. Yeah.
You're permitted to like her. It's fine.
Yeah, to each their own. All right, so let's second episode. We got the return of the Tribbles.
That's the third episode. Or did we do the last night of the Protostar?
It's 2 parts.
So what the heck? See, okay, so if we're jumping into the Tribble episode, I want to say something else about the last flight of the Protostar.
Okay, we're going back to this again. Okay,
can we just say holy crap to them showing Adrik's dead freaking body?
Oh, yes. Good man! Yes, he was pretty dead.
Somebody needs to tell Dr. Miggly Moo that his cousin is dead. But I just thought that was quite. For a show aimed at children, it was quite shocking, kind of graphic. I know it was a skeleton, but it's still like that was a character we were just watching a couple episodes ago. And
but this guy has no chance because every version he dies. Like he gets shot in the stomach. The other version, and this one, I guess the planet ate him or something.
I must be sick because I laughed a little bit when I saw his skeleton. I'm like, that's what happens if you see a dead bird on the ground and you see it a week later. Skeleton. So it must have been all the ants come up and eat Adrik after he died.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure that planet has some nasty ants too.
Yeah.
Probably came out, had huge pinchers of spitting acid everywhere.
Oh my god.
But yeah, okay, we can move on to the Tribble episode now.
Okay,
I will
Tribbles.
say, just to back you up on that too, the funeral scene was a nice touch, don't you think?
It really was, yes. I just wanted to see the skeleton get up and go, "I'm not dead."
I just need some water. God, some
just
water.
I was thinking
dehydrated.
that
Do you
thing
have
from
a
Moon
Diet
Knight
Coke?
the whole time too.
What's
You
that?
know that thing from Moon Knight?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
There we go.
All right. A Tribble called Quest. Now that's a play on a rap group from the 80s called A Tribe Called Quest. Just want to put that out there. Get in touch with my roots.
Thanks for the 90s reference, buddy.
No problem. The 90s. So yes, VHS Chase, what do you think of that?
Yeah, look, I should have hated this episode, but I dug it.
Yeah, this is fun.
Klingon was fun. There was one thing that I went, ooh, at. Like, ooh, brother, what is that? Is Gribble.
Gribble?
Yeah, at the end of this episode.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's got a name, Joe.
I didn't know it was called Gribble. I was like, oh, cute little thing, you know.
No, they reference his name later, a few times later on. Look, it's not the cuteness of it because it's uber cute, and I'm sure it would sell a lot of toys. It's just kind of, ooh, like, what is that? That's
it's a spliced thing.
No, that thing came from boogers, from snot. She sneezed.
Oh, that's right. And then, so
made Gribble. So, but, no, it's a fun episode. I thought it was good. The fact of the matter, it's a hilarious concept that they've got a Klingon scientist because that's their arch nemesis. And he's doing it for the glory of the Klingon Empire.
I love this.
To get their vengeance. That's cool on its own. So, but that's what I thought of it.
Yeah. The Jason Roy Gaston.
I have to throw something up real quick. Hold on. I didn't like it.
Oh my God! Seriously,
I did not like it. It was.
Are you in
cringe.
vacation mode and you just didn't want to watch?
No, it was from beginning to end. I thought that this episode was just nothing but pure cringe. It's like, let's take the most easy to make fun of Star Trek trope that we've been making fun of for the last 30 years and just beat it into the ground.
Wow.
Oh, killer Tribbles. Oh, wow. Yeah. Didn't the animated series do that like 30 years ago or 20 years ago? Or God, it's been 50 years ago, hasn't it?
I might have forgotten, but I thought I've never seen a kaiju Tribble before.
No, I haven't.
Okay. More Tribbles, more trouble. Animated series 50 years ago. Catch up, please.
And they had a giant one in it?
Maybe.
Yes! It was in Kirk's chair.
That was a high-pitched giant thing. Right here. Just...
Yeah, like I'm sure there was some champagne glasses that cracked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And Bribble.
Yes.
Hated him. I hate him. I hate Bribble. It just, I'm sorry. There's already a cute character on this show. We don't need another one. Yeah, it's Murph. Okay, so they're trying. It almost felt like they were trying to have their own Moopsie.
Moopsie.
You can't replicate Moopsie.
No.
Moopsie.
You can't replicate Murph. I just did not like this episode. And I spaced out multiple times while I was watching it and had to tell myself, no, pay attention. Yeah, I just didn't like it.
Wow. So this is an agony booth for you.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey,
this would be the Prodigy Agony Booth episode.
Damn. Well.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
I hate you so much right now.
I love this.
You get your vengeance, my friend.
I cannot begin to tell you how much hatred I have for you at this point.
Oh, that's sad.
Look, even she jumped up here to hate you professionally.
Well, he's got his own battle cat now, too. So.
Yeah, that's what you live.
Yeah, that's what happens. I actually enjoyed this episode. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was the cutesy episode of the week. I love the little Tribble that was underneath the bowl, and they were running around trying to catch him, and Rock 2, and then them fighting the giant Tribbles. I thought that was a well-paced episode, and there was a lot of stakes to be had, and it was fun. So
very light.
Yeah, it was a light episode. It's a break up death of Birdman.
And I assume for the audience that even watching animated shows from 50 years ago,
yes, because
it's a good way to introduce that concept back.
Yeah, exactly. They get huge, almost rock-like. All right, so I guess we'll move on to the next episode.
I think we better when Jason resets his studio.
Yeah, I was like,
Battle Cat, her fat little body fell off my desk and she took a lamp with her.
I saw the light go. I was like, uh-oh. Lights up, baby.
Correct. The Protostar's reunion with Voyager has unexpected side effects, bouncing the crew between alternate realities, including the mirror universe.
All right. Well, we'll start with Jason Roy Gaston this time. Change it up a little bit.
I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I loved this one. This one was so much fun. Number one, I love the amount of just love Star Trek has been shoveling on Star Trek Online for the last couple of years, because they used the Star Trek Online ship models for the fleet of the 25th century. And now Star Trek canonizes Mirror Janeway from Star Trek Online with the 7 of 9 implant and everything.
Yeah, I got questions around that.
And I love how the Terran Empire is shown to actually, the Starfleet of the Terran Empire is shown to actually exist in the 24th century. I don't know if it's the same universe as the Deep Space Nine mirror universe. I kind of hope it is, because I like the idea that Starfleet still exists and it's kind of in ruins. I wanted to get the backstory of the other parallel universes a little bit more. I wanted to see more of the Starfleet is destroyed universe. I wanted to see more of Captain Tuvix. Why did we not get Captain Tuvix? That would have been amazing. Captain Tuvix would have been great.
Oh my god,
that is the biggest missed opportunity in this episode.
Oh no,
it is a giant thing.
Oh yeah, we do have it. Couldn't remember if we had it here or not.
I kind of deserve that this week.
Absolute steaming hatred right now. I'm
Great
just
work, Chase.
angry.
He's angry now, right? Until you get to do this in a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're going to be giggling like a little bloody schoolgirl.
Like I was.
Either way, it was a missed opportunity, though, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I would have happily seen this episode as 2 parts.
This could have been a 2-parter, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. There was a lot more to play with. Could I ask a question though? What's weird? How come she has the 7 of 9 thing? Is there a story behind why Mirror Universe Captain Janeway has that?
I don't know if I'm sure that there was probably some explanation for it. I think they just did it to make her visually different from Janeway, because in Star Trek Online, there's an entire story about bringing Mirror Janeway into the Prime Universe to defeat an invasion of the Mirror Federation. I don't know if they ever explained the implant. Maybe she just took it from 7 of 9 because she thought it looked cool. Maybe it's a shrunking. I don't know.
My theory was that they couldn't get Jerry Ryan to do this episode, so they just went with Janeway, a voiceover, and then just said, you know what? We do have the animation a little bit, so we'll just leave it. You know
who they did get, though? Billy Campbell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Akana was back, which was, I thought they were fun. He's great. Like the animated version they've been doing of him is really fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
He was really good in 4400. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but if you do have a chance to check it out. It's worth it. Go ahead,
I wanted to also mention about, I've got a word here, and I want, hopefully you guys can explain. Cat laser. Why did I write down cat laser for?
Were you buying one for your cat?
Maybe Scooter wanted one. I don't know.
Yeah, you got one.
Cat laser. Was anything about a cat laser in the episode? I don't know.
Don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I just have to stop for a minute because one of the writers of Prodigy confirmed my theory about the whale
Oh,
Jillian, the whale in Astromectrix.
oh yes.
I said, wouldn't it be cool if Jillian is the granddaughter of George and Gracie? No, Jillian is the daughter of George and Gracie. Jillian is 97 years old, and so George and Gracie named their daughter Jillian after the woman who saved them.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love that so much.
The Mirror Universe one was not nice.
She's evil.
That's so evil.
She's evil.
Here, get him, get these kids.
Yeah. Well, yes, and yes, of course, we get a reference to one of our shows.
Yeah.
Thank you, Star Trek, for referencing our show. But
yes.
Yeah, who gets to go in the agonizer first?
Yeah, we're gonna make you watch the worst episodes of Star Trek. Who's getting code of honored?
You know what I do like about Janeway's portrayal, though? She didn't go just evil. She went evil who's enjoying every second of being evil. Like, she's loving being an evil person in this. I thought that was kind of cool.
This has one of the few Chakotay moments that I actually liked, though. There were a few this season. I think this was the first one where I went, oh, I'm glad Chakotay's in this show. And that was whenever he's trying to explain to Janeway that she needs to raise the shields and fire at the aliens. And she says, why should I trust you? And he looks at her and says, because you know, no matter what reality we're in, I would never hurt you.
Oh, yeah. He's like,
I hate the shipping. I hate, because you can tell. You can totally tell the writers shipped them. You can tell. But I liked that. I thought that was really good. You want to know who it would have come out better from? Tuvok.
Yeah.
Should have been Captain Tuvok.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I would have taken Tuvix at this point.
Ew, brother. Ew.
I really wanted to see that scene.
Yeah.
Of him on the bridge and how the crew react to Captain Tuvix. Because I'm a big believer he'd be the most popular captain.
Oh.
I think it would have been hilarious if, like, he was the captain of an entire Voyager of Tuvix's. Like you have Harry Kim Kote. You have
Balana Tom Lana.
So we end up really. So Tuvix's fate, just like our lower decks, is they'll all end up merging to one.
Yeah. One big human,
like.
Yeah. Oh man! What was it? The Evil Dead, the newer one, the remake that was like that at the end. You know?
Yeah. Great film.
That was, yeah. I gotta watch it again. VHS Chase. Anything else you want to add to that?
Oh, kind of. I've already spoken about it. It's
okay.
Good. It's definitely a highlight for me for this half of the season. Mm-hmm. Which I consider season 3 in many ways, or season 4 technically, because I do feel it's 10 episode seasons, and so it's almost like a season 4 at this point. And it's I would say it's up in my memory. Top 3 episodes.
It was very good
of this second half, this season 4.
Right. Yeah, I mean, anytime you go to the Mirror Universe, most of the time it's a great time because they get to act counter of themselves and to really like blow it up and ham it up, so to speak.
Well, that's the thing, hamming it up here, because they don't ever pull back from the camp, and I think that's really important that they continue that original series campiness, Mirror Universe campiness. So,
yeah, totally agree. And I also love the ship is kind of beat up in that version too. So I kind of enjoy like the rustic look of almost. It looks like they're living on an abandoned construct. So,
well, Jason's right. It should have been. Is this one you said it should have been a 2-parter?
Yeah, this one should have been a 2-parter.
You could have spent time.
Yeah,
and you could have kind of spent time on each deck.
Yeah,
that would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been very cool. And you could have explained a lot of stuff, like why does Janeway have the 7 or 9 thing? You can like, everything, you know,
because it looks cool. That's it.
It does look cool.
Yeah, well, it does look really cool. I just thought maybe there was something behind it.
Yeah, no. That's all I got for that one. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think that it definitely was a highlight of the season. One of the many things. I feel like this is when it kind of took a different trajectory and it really started to pick up because they started putting out banger after banger, as they say. Let us hop into the next one.
The next one's a two-parter. And that's
yes.
We're just gonna. Are we just gonna discuss both parts this time?
Yeah, we're just.
So here we go. Just as the Protostar and Voyager crews bring their mission to a close, a former enemy suddenly resurfaces with surprising new powers. Overwhelmed by Essenzia's mysteriously advanced weaponry, the Protostar and Voyager crews take a series of calculated risks that endanger the cadets.
All right, VHS.
Wow, this really feels like a really late in the season episode. You could almost say it reminds you of a finale because it's so
heavy.
action driven. It's so purpose driven. This one. I mean, look, I've got lots of bits and pieces here, but straight away I want to talk about the Nova Fly being redesigned by Paris. Loving it. Did you catch that line?
I caught that. Yeah.
Yeah, which was really cool.
And they were really dope looking little ships too.
Mm-hmm. I've written down here, Bribble is really pissing me off.
Basically,
having a pet Tuvix.
Oh no.
Yeah. LOL to the reasons of why Starfleet is spread so thin.
Oh yeah, Jellicoe's like
they make.
Yeah.
Which is really great. Do you remember that one, Jace, when Jellicoe's talking about why Starfleet is spread too thin?
We can't help you, Janeway.
Remind me.
Well, didn't they talk about the current
they were talking about evacuating.
Oh, the Romulan evacuation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, the Romulan evacuation. No, that did spoiler for the other thing then too, for later on, which is awesome. But yeah. And it's great because it just goes into what you're saying, Jason, about how they just pack it full of references. Like the connective tissue to the greater Star Trek universe is done with such care and love, and I think it was really good. So, what else? What is it with all the bad guys recently having really pointy ships?
Yeah,
menacing.
Anybody feel like when it first came out, it was like, is that the strike? Anybody else?
Mate? Yep, for the first second a bit, that's exactly what I thought.
Oh, cool. I felt like,
I
was hoping I wouldn't be the only one.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah.
And I love his Murph going pew 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 pew.
Yeah. Murph.
Yeah, that's super.
He knows.
Well, I've got other things here, but I'll move on.
Jason Roy Gaston.
I enjoyed this episode. I think I enjoyed the second part better because I think that's the one where Zero goes to defuse the weird time torpedo thingy.
Cursor.
Yeah, it looked like a turd.
I'm gonna give my controversial take here. I think the last episode, the one about the decks being all different universes, that one should have been the two-parter, and this one should have been a one-parter. Because to me, after a while, it got very repetitive. And it just seemed like they were trying to stretch it out as much as they could. Now, I absolutely loved Zero trying to defuse the bomb. I thought that was really, really great TV. The Nova Squadron, take it or leave it, I guess. It was certainly part of the episode. But yes, I thought that this two-parter was really, it just felt like one episode stretched out. And I don't know, the last episode made me want more. This one made me want less. So I don't know. 2-part on the last episode, 1 part on this one.
Interesting.
I do like how the maneuver where they call the Boothby maneuver.
Yeah, Boothby, yeah.
Yes. No, the Boothby supernova, don't they call it that?
Yes.
Yes.
That was dope. I like the big shock and awe at the end that behind everything was Wesley Crusher. That's why they kept figuring out all the moves. I thought that was dope. The only thing that bothered me was like, how the hell did they get Wesley? And doesn't he have superpowers? Like, how come he just couldn't like blink himself up?
Explain it later.
Yeah, they do. And he's Doctor Who for sure. He's absolutely
totally.
Doctor.
Yeah, they're not even trying to hide.
They're not trying to hide.
Spin off.
We want a Wesley Who show.
Animated in this style. Make it happen. Do it.
Yes, the Traveler. Just call it the Traveler, and away you go.
Can you imagine?
It's like kung fu in space.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Just saving different planets with time and space. I thought that was dope. I loved the stakes that we thought that Voyager was going to get exploded because she saw it in a future vision. So she's like, oh, I'm going to make that happen. And I was like, oh my God. Like at first when it exploded, I was like, wait, hold up. What just happened? And I had to rewind it. And I was like, oh, okay. So she's seeing different. So I had to pull myself back. What were you going to say, Jace?
Well, I just want to say that this episode proved to me that Sentia is a one-note villain. She's one of the weaker villains I've seen in a while.
Yep.
Yeah, I felt that too.
I there's no, was better. And then when later on in the series, when they try to add some dimension to it, it just falls flat to me. She's there's a real misfire with that character, I reckon. Yeah,
I much prefer the Diviner than her as a villain. I thought he was a little bit more like, I want my progeny. You know.
Well, she might as well have been wearing a mustache and twirling it.
Yeah. Well, who was more of an outlandish villain, her or the Breen from Discovery, season 5?
Oh, she is.
Oh, wow. She overtakes him? Wow.
Yeah.
There was at least some Game of Thrones like politics going on with the Breen. Yeah, she's just true. Like, I'm evil.
I want to kill everyone. And I want my golden egg. So it was just it's just a lot of fun for the most part, but like, you know, seeing the rusting of the ship when that time turd weapon kind of went off was really cool.
It was good. There are elements in this episode that are good. I think
great. Yeah.
Some of the action sequences with the ships are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
as Murph puts it, pew pew pew.
Yeah, so, pew pew pews in this one.
Yeah, but it's not super strong. And in fact, Joe, at this point, I'm going to make the declaration because you mentioned you reckon it's to me, this is an example of why this is the weaker half of this season.
Interesting.
Because there's been too many episodes, even at this point, that have not blown me away as such. And I really felt the first half was building. There was a clear path, a journey, a problem that needed to be solved. You know, interesting way to tackle it. And here I think we're going into generic Star Trek. We've got a villain. We've got to beat him.
Yeah. It's Trek tropes. You know, you got to have your Trek tropes. So.
Do you, though?
Yeah. Yeah. We need a Khan-like villain. What was it? You guys had it like a list. The Paramount list of what they needed out of the Star Trek.
Khan-like villain, time travel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some whales. Yep. Comedy,
a marketable character.
Yeah, a new marketable character.
I will say with their time travel storylines, it really haven't they run that sponge dry at this point now? What else can you do with time travel? I'm sure they'll come up with some lame storyline, but I've liked this one, but I'm so over it. So over it.
It's like the Borg. It's like it was somehow the Borg returned, you know. It's like
I really like the angle that they took this time, that they messed up the timeline and now their timeline is the wrong timeline, and now it's like we need to hurry before this timeline is erased. I really liked that, and I loved the loom. I thought the loom were terrific. They weren't bad guys. They weren't one-note bad guys like Essentia. They were just a force of nature, and there was no negotiating with them. Yeah. I really enjoyed that.
But they've done it now, right? They've given us a really good, fresh take on that. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I challenge Trek writers to put time travel aside for a while.
Yeah.
Like, for at least a season or two. Let's just put it aside and get back into the here and now. But it was handled really, really well. And the loom, yes, we'll talk about in an episode coming up. Yeah, there were things they did with the loom that I really dug.
Yeah. I also felt that the quick work of Jacob Pog to get Zero Body version 2.0, 3.0 was kind of cool. Yeah. It's like, where are you doing all the power on the ship? Trust me, it's going to be really worth it. You know, I thought that was.
I know they had to get him back looking like the same.
Yeah.
And they give him some tactile things now so he can set his sensors now. But I really kind of loved the evolution of Zero. And it was sad that they weren't brave enough to continue in that kind of pathway, and now we're back to just Zero again.
Yeah,
Could have sold more toys, guys. If you
you got to sell those toys, man. They already had the molds. They can't make green molds. They can't go back
molds
to Avatar.
They don't use, Joe.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. Let us hop into the next episode.
Break.
As war looms between the Federation and Solum, Gwyn proposes to lead the cadets on an undercover mission to gather intelligence and rescue Ilthuran. Whoa, Ilthuran. The Diviner.
Oh, yeah. Diviner.
The pre-Diviner, yes.
Yeah. Baby Diviner.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I thought this was a fun episode. I am going to go first this time just to throw an old wrench into the works there. I thought this was a fun episode. We got the powers that be behind the Valnakat. I thought that was a really cool concept. The only thing that kind of threw me off was they somehow captured a loom. Like, how? So that was kind of weird, but very cool. Gwyn and Essentia throw down, even though you guys are pretty much on the nose with her being a one-trick pony. It's kind of like very obvious at this point that not really feeling the whole.
Well, this is their attempt to try to give her character complexity, but we have a good one as well.
Yeah.
And it just rang flat for me.
Right.
Time.
Yeah, going back to the Diviner universe. So
rather than because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the old Batman Dark Knight thing,
right.
Die a hero or live long enough to become the villain kind
Correct.
of scenario, but just no.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. And then I felt that the building of the universe of that particular planet really got some more, and I really love seeing the rest of the Valnakat. I really like how they all like glow, and they have those helmet things in the council. I just really like the design of how that particular alien species looks. So that's one of the favorite things I've got from Prodigy. Just Jace, go for it.
I love their manufacturing process.
Oh,
now when you talk about a good use of time travel, now that was awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that they used time travel in a manufacturing process. As someone who used to manage a factory many, many years ago in a previous life, I couldn't appreciate how awesome. I appreciated how awesome that was. They can literally build an army within moments. Well, a month or two. They can. That's very cool. I thought that was a very fresh idea I hadn't seen before. What is with the saw-like death device they've got in Traveler? They couldn't think of except just a giant neck thing.
Yeah,
I was waiting for the big teeth to come over and
see
Jigsaw on his little bike riding by.
To play a game.
Yeah. That's I don't have a lot on this. I did put a note here. I'm starting to understand Jason's perspective on Margelle. Why did I write that down? I think in this episode
because
I
I'm
didn't
correct.
like her delivery. No. In this episode, there were a couple of scenes that ran a little bit flat. I still think she's a strong addition. But yeah, that was interesting. And the other thing I really loved in this episode is Wes freaking out because he can't tell what the future is now uncertain.
That was
it's been years and years and years where he no longer has that ability to know the outcome of everything.
Right.
And just seeing him freaking out, becoming more human-like again, I thought that was cool. Hence why I put that, because that's the moment him freaking out, man.
Freaking out, man. Help. Jason Roy Gaston.
I thought this was a cool look into the Valnakat culture. I really liked the whole gag about using time travel to build an army, because that gave us a ticking clock and everything. But looking back on it, I'm still kind of underwhelmed.
Wow.
I was underwhelmed by this episode, and I'm actually underwhelmed by the next episode. Spoiler alert. I just felt like the last half of this season just dragged for me.
Wow. I had so much fun.
It just seemed like these Brink, touch of Gray, and even a little bit of the Ouroboros two-parter, to me, it just seemed like they were treading and retreading, and just I wanted them to get on with it. And I think that this episode was 6 episodes that were stretched out into 10.
Wow. You know, I must admit there are times I was waiting for the hobbits to get on the boat as well. Because we are kind of getting into spoiler alert here, but where they really made the mistake, in my opinion, is so many epilogues that just kept going and going and going. They had a final, I think, and I reckon a lot of what we're seeing in the second half has been played with because of the cancellation. Because think about this show's been done for a long ass time,
right?
All right, we know that. So they've gone in and added additional moments. It's clear, and it becomes more clear as we get to the end of this series. But I think it's absolutely interrupted the flow. But even saying that, you could make the argument you could extract 2 or 3 episodes out of this season quite easily. And, you know, at this point, there should be no fluff, no filler anywhere. It should be kind of getting to the point. So...
I mean, the thing I really appreciated is that we got like a Wesley-centric episode, so to speak. Yeah. He's very heavily involved in this, and we always wanted to kind of know what the hell Wesley's doing, especially after Picard season 2. He's like, I'm grabbing people for stuff, and though we never got to see Dodge again, but it was cool to see him and what his misadventures really are. So seeing him being
that's the opportunity.
Yeah,
that is the opportunity coming up. So you can't play the video because it is an opportunity.
No, I know, really, it's not missed. It's
delve into Wesley Crusher.
Yeah. All right, let us move on to Gray.
Yeah, I got to admit, I've got 2 lines for this one. Gray.
Can I read the synopsis? That's like my only job here.
Yeah.
Admiral Janeway devises a clever plan to liberate her crew from Asensia's prison, where they're trapped with an angry captive from the loom.
I loved this episode. It seems like you guys didn't. I like the doctor tricking the Volnikat Asensia, basically Toucan Sam or whatever it is.
It was a funny moment that he overdid it.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, my heart!" Yeah, I love that scene. That was really great. And then he switches it to the doctor, and then they're like, "All right, well, this is better." And he goes, "Well, I gotta go," and he like teleports himself out of the situation. I thought that was really fun. Basically, the come around part where Zero goes, "I sense Janeway," and you really think they kind of give you that, "Oh shit, did they kill Janeway for like 5 seconds of a second, millisecond of a second?" And then you realize, no, it's a bigger switcheroo play, and I thought that was a little bit of fun. It's a good classic storytelling trope that I thought worked really well. And the only thing that bugged me was the capturing of the loom. How did they capture the loom? And then, because most of the time the thing can just phase out of stuff. So what happened there?
I think you could have trapped him somehow.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's Star Trek. Eventually we get to some point where they can figure out the species in the interstellar. But I guess maybe answering it myself, maybe they can figure out some way to manipulate time. And because they manipulate time, they were able to manipulate the loom and freeze them into a maybe corporeal state and allow them to trap it. So that's where I'm going with that. Still a great developed, drawn character. I really hope they make toys, because that would be a really cool thing to like hang up somewhere, even if it's like a poster, because it was a really cool design.
Well, the strongest part of this episode is the loom.
Yeah.
Is the loom, is the fact that you find out it's scared and it just wants to get back to its species, gives it a bit of dimension, which was kind of cool. Gross out moment is Holloway Janeway crushing on EMT.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are Tumblr pages being created as we speak.
Oh man.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Reddit's going to blow up with some fan art, that's for sure.
And the crap at the beginning when the doc says to Wes, your space powers are gone forever and they're never going to come back, which is telegraphing to the audience, no, this is just temporary.
Yep.
Which was really kind of annoying. In some ways, this episode and the last episode, kind of like a giant Mission Impossible episode.
Yeah. They had to save Yeah.
Well, even in that last episode, they say, like, it's your mission if you choose to accept it. And
yeah.
There's lots of little kind of Mission Mission Impossible, like the old switcheroo. That's a classic Mission Impossible trope. The only thing that's missing was the face mask.
Yeah, him feeling off. Oops, sorry.
Yeah,
totally.
No, very flat. This one was like, hey, I thought this show was over. Like, I'm getting to it at this point. I'm thinking, what are we doing now? Are we starting a whole new storyline? What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, once they defeated Essentia and basically used the power of good like a Care Bear, like the power like Care Bears are going.
I have to say something about this, but once you kill the villain, like I come from the school of movie's over, guys. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
You know, the credits rolling. But then we get, oh no, we've done this. Now we're going to go on a whole separate mission to deal with this.
Yeah.
Which they have to because it is an important part of the whole storyline.
Correct.
But still, I'm not enthused at that point. I'm like, oh, okay, we've got to get over that point now.
Yeah. Jason Roy Gaston.
I'm just going to repeat my own criticism that I just gave, which is fine because this episode feels like it's been repeating everything also. This episode and the last episode should have been compressed into one episode. I just feel like, again, it's just kind of treading the same ground again. Essentia is not an interesting villain. I did like the Doctor cosplaying as Janeway. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was goofy. I liked the making the loom monster a little bit more than just, oh gosh, it's going to kill us all. It's just basically showing it's a wild animal and it was just scared. I thought that was kind of neat. I kind of liked that hologram Janeway was a fan of the EMH. I mean, honestly, she's a sentient hologram being a fan of the first really sentient hologram. Why not?
Yeah.
The fact that she's like reading these trashy novels that he writes. It's like, I don't really see that as a crush. Now, I will say that Tumblr will, and they will run with it, and we will see, what would you call it? An emergency training hologram, an ETH, EMH, an ETC, MH plus. I don't know what.
A lot of letters. A whole lot of letters.
Yeah, a lot of letters. But yeah,
totally flirting with him.
For the most part, I think that the last two episodes should have been compressed into one. I think this kind of showed the failing of this last part of the season is that it just kind of ran out of steam and was just being drawn out.
I don't feel like it was being drawn out so much as like, I think this was redone because of the finite that they got being canceled. I think that there's some things that got tweaked that made the story go in a direction that they had to in case they couldn't get a third season. It kind of like finished up everything. So,
which has got to be a lot of dread for the audience out there because the reality is, guys, they have written to close this book.
Yeah.
Right. So
I feel that.
Do you think there's any that season 3 is guaranteed or we are going to get one? The chances are very slim. Very slim. But Jason's really talking about the last two episodes, which I suppose we should get into, eh?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, very well.
Image.
Let's throw it. There we go. Oh my God!
Alert.
Hello. The cadets fight Essentia in a battle of control of Solomon for the future, but for a sudden invasion by destructive species complicates their in-game.
And yes, that is a spoiler image, but this is a spoiler show.
Yeah. Love those uniforms, though. Those uniforms look awesome.
Yeah, I think Sean Farrick's got one already, right?
I'm sure he does. He's got a whole closet full of
he's got
a whole closet full of uniforms, and that makes him a gigantic nerd, and I'm seethingly jealous.
Yeah, and we love Sean.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
there are some cool things in this final episode I do want to address, though.
Go for it.
I really like the fact that Essentia blows out her senses.
Yeah,
like she tries so hard at the end that she literally just basically like, I don't know, like Mission Impossible 3 pops the eye kind of thing. And
yeah.
Thing cracks and she just shatters herself. The power of the will of the people, corny.
That was Care Bear, the Care Bear moment.
It was a Care Bear moment. Yes, definitely. I'll give you that one for sure. The closing montage. I like closing montages. Oi, oi, oi. This is beyond a montage.
We got a great speech from Janeway, though.
Yeah, I'm sure you posted at some point.
I will. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can see it again.
The tie, because I mentioned it earlier, the tie into Picard with the Mars attacks.
Yes.
Really dug that. Really dug.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Totally. And obviously, I'm not going to talk about the big moment because I wanted you guys to talk about the big moment, and I'll throw my 2 cents worth in. But yeah, wow, this is kind of like an episode they should have released later. Like, hey guys, if you're wondering what happens, here's this like little bit of fun thing that we made that kind of shows you everything that happened after the end of that season. But yeah, it doesn't work as a cohesive story at this point because it's very clear we're just trying to wrap things up. So it's either one or the other. They've either wrapping things up because they're trying to close the series, or they're wrapping it up because they didn't know how to write an end of this story. They ripped themselves into a corner. Like, I don't know. But it does have some really cool moments in the episode. But overall, it's a mess. If it was a movie, if we walked out of the movie and that was the last half an hour, you'd be saying, what the F was that?
Jason Roy.
Okay, so I'm going to say it again. The story with Essentia and Solum should have been combined with part 1.
Yep.
That's one episode.
Yeah,
everything after dealing with putting the Protostar back should have been the last episode.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I was a sucker for everything that happened with the Protostar. I think that was the most invested that I got in this entire series outside of the alternate universes. But I absolutely loved it. And there was something about the... I particularly loved whenever they're getting ready to leave the Protostar for the last day. First of all, saving Janeway. Thank you for saving hologram Janeway.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice callback to last season when they couldn't do that.
Right.
And then whenever they're getting ready to leave and Dal says, wait, and he goes and he takes his comm badge off and he puts it down on the floor because he realized that the comm badge they found wasn't there. I thought, oh, that is such a cool thing. But
that was a nice callback.
Where did the comm badge come from in the first place?
It's a time loop. It's always from Dal.
Chicken in the egg.
It was never created by anything, and it never will be destroyed. It will always be looping around. Where does it come from?
Yeah.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony from Doctor Who. Who wrote it? We don't know.
Yeah. It was dope.
All the stuff after the Protostar goes back in time. I guess the big thing that we were talking about is Wesley going and saying hi to his mom.
Oh, and meeting his brother.
I loved it. And the thing that I loved about this, Prodigy, and I know I have complained a lot about some of this. I'm just going to say it right now. Prodigy's a fantastic series, and you should be watching it. Even with its flaws, it is a fantastic series. It did some things this season it didn't have to do, and that is it served as a connective tissue between the TNG era and the Picard era. And it just ties it all up with this nice, pretty bow of all the moments that we were missing. Because how many times did we say during the 3rd season of Picard, this show is great, but why aren't they talking more about Wesley? Does Wesley know he has a brother? What's going on?
You're right.
They not only explained why Wesley was not around, because he couldn't be. He couldn't stay in that plane very long, which is kind of tragic. And yeah, he met his brother. And I thought that's awesome. That's awesome that Wesley met his brother.
It was a nice twist.
What's your name? Oh my God. I died a little bit. And then tying it all back to the Mars attacks, because I was certain they were not going to go there. And then they did.
Yeah, that shocked me.
That shocked me. And I really liked how they, oh my gosh, they did so much in those last 10 minutes. They addressed the uniforms and the comm badges.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, yeah, what the heck's going on with the comm badges? Oh, yeah, we don't even have enough comm badges to give everybody the updated ones.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
What did they just too. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, again, they didn't have to do it, but they did. And the last bit, when they gave the kids their own Protostar class ship called the USS Prodigy.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I love that. I love the new uniforms. And guys, Dal comes full circle.
Yeah.
He comes full circle whenever he says, I was wrong. This chair wasn't for me. It was for you.
Beautiful moment.
That was incredible storytelling right there.
Yeah.
And again, I want a third season, but if the third season doesn't happen, I'm happy with where they're leaving it. I think it was a great bookend, not only to Prodigy, but also an era of Star Trek. You know, it brings an end to the TNG era and it begins the Picard era. And I think that was beautiful.
I particularly love the little interaction between Wes and Dal, where he talks about, so many exciting things to come. Also, so many terrible things.
Yeah.
Like setting up a future, which I thought was amazing. The reasoning behind why they gave them their own ship worked really well for me too, because of what the Federation was doing. All about protection. We're bringing back all explorers and we're basically going inward and locking things down. No more exploratory. And it worked well. It kind of makes sense why they got their own ship, because really this is rebellious Janeway again, making sure that still continues, even in a small way. Yeah, really good. Really, really, really good. And I just want to say, I think Jason nailed it on the head. It was two parts of this story, and the fact they dragged one part of the story throughout the whole 20 episodes is the failure of the season. Is the unmitigated mistake that the whole thing with Essentia and Gwyn should have been done by halfway through the season. But yes, that last 10 minutes, like Jason has just eloquently put, bloody brilliant.
So do we know who set off those robots? It was the
Jat Vash.
Jat Vash, yes. Jat Vash, yes. Okay. I was wondering. Because it's been a while since I've seen. That's first season. Yeah. First season Picard, right? Or second season?
Yeah.
First
season of Picard, we go, I like this. I think I like this.
Yeah.
And then by second one, you're like,
second season will be better. Oh my God, it's worse.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the third season is going to suck too. Oh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. This is amazing.
This is actually the best.
Yeah.
Doesn't it give you a lot of hope for the fact of Star Trek moving forward, is really taking these incidences like the Mars attacks and making them key point things in their history. So it just gives everything just a bit more gravitas now. You go back to Picard and go, oh, well, that just wasn't a little story element. No, that's a key incident like Wolf 359, like anything else you can, the first Borg, thing, first contact, Yeah,
no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very.
One thing that you guys didn't mention that I really thought was cool is when they were floating through the loom, all those loom, it was like going through a jellyfish. It was so cool.
Yeah.
It was like, I was waiting for them to have like loom pieces at the end of the ship. But they were very kid friendly and didn't do that. When you're driving and you get like a bug smashed on your windshield. But very cool ending. I thought the bow tying on this was fantastic, and we got so much connections to the other series that it makes more sense. And I think that we have possibilities, especially with Doctor Who / The Traveler / Wesley Crusher, setting them up with so much. I think we as
the studio should be good. This is our chance to directly face off against the Doctor Who. They got the backing of Disney. We'll do our own thing, and we have 60 odd years or 50 odd years of like lore that we can play around with.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be the one series that the expectation that it would be mostly time travel.
Exactly.
I think then you could. And because of the tone of who he is as a character, a little bit batty, you could do a lot of fun callbacks too.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he could go anywhere. He could go visit TOS. He could go visit Pike. He could go visit the Cerritos. He could go visit anything.
He could go to the entire Lost era. He can hang out with Sulu.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Oh,
Enterprise B, there's so much you could do. It'd be amazing.
It's perfect for it, hey?
Yeah.
But yet again, Kurtzman's involved, so he probably won't give us what the Star Trek fans want yet again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we should start hashtagging it. We want Star Trek the Traveler.
Call it the Traveler, yeah.
Yeah. Star Trek the Traveler.
I think, he's the only one who can do it. I was so impressed that they took elements of his real life personality, his enthusiasm, his, big, as an actor, he's very big, and they made it like really fun in the character.
Right.
He's a little bit crazy.
Is it sad that this is the best characterization that Wesley Crusher has ever gotten?
Ooh.
Yeah, look, it's true. Yeah, it is true. You can't argue it. Like, no one's telling him to shut up at this point.
And I'm not saying it's sad that this is, I'm happy for Will. I think that it's awesome that Wesley's finally getting respect, but I just think it's ironic that in this kids show that pretty much, most of the fan base is written off, Paramount wrote off, nobody really talks about, but here it is, Wesley Crusher, this character from the golden days of Star Trek, getting the best characterization he's ever gotten ever. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm all here for it. I want more.
Yeah, well, think about this. If you had the Traveler, right, what a great way that Paramount is able to introduce younger audiences to the canon.
Yes.
Because they get to see it through Wesley's eyes in the Traveler.
Yeah.
So we get to reintroduce younger audiences and even casual viewers on how things interconnect in a fun, entertaining way. I want an executive producer credit just for that.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, if you think about it, this is an opportunity presented right in front of us to give us something that would be just like a hug from the universe and different types of animation. Imagine he goes into Lower Decks. He's not going to be Prodigy animation. He's going to be Lower Decks animation. And then he'll go.
But what if it was opposite? What if we got 3D version of Lower Decks?
Oh,
we've had Boilerman in real life. Why not have him 3D animated?
There you go. So that would be cool. Yeah.
You just see that he looks down, sees how he's animated, and just does that.
Yeah, exactly. The little freak out. Yeah. That would be amazing. But I think it's a great opportunity. And Skydance officially rebought Paramount now. So
no. It's still going to go through the FCC. Is it the FCC? It's
right, but now they made the agreement now because it was like she didn't agree to it. Now she did. So the Redstone's out, right?
Yeah, it's in principle that's where it's at. But you know what? I've at this point, Joe, with that deal, until it's signed on the dotted line, we've already shown months and months of will we, won't we, will we, won't we. Like, let's just wait now. I mean, I'm hoping. I still think Paramount deserves to be under one umbrella. I would hate to see it fractured, pointed off, but it certainly needs new leadership in a lot of different areas of the film division.
Television. I mean, the Skydance CEO seems to be pretty hyped about doing it. So I'm hoping.
He recognized Star Trek as one of the strongest franchises they have.
Correct.
So, which is always a good sign to recognize that, hey, this is a franchise we need to keep it going. And if you think about what they've done recently with this show, even with Discovery, they are trying to paint a future. Not within the show, but a future for the franchise. Discovery really leads into Star Trek Academy, right? I mean, we set up pieces there, and we've got this that could potentially lead into something. Picard Season 3 was potentially leading into something.
Right.
So I will give... They have not at one point closed the door on these characters, maybe the series, but not the door of where they could potentially keep going.
Yeah.
So I've got to give credit to that. They're always pushing forward. There is more to come. Yeah.
There's always hope for the future. And that's what I love about Star Trek. And that's what I love about what they've done with these shows. And that's what I love about the Captain Squadron, because there's a lot of hope for us to go and talk into things into the future, including one of the big things that I'm excited to announce that next week will be having a special interview with Klingon Pop Warrior.
Did we all coin in the moment where you thought, okay, not saying anymore, but did we all find that moment in the season we went, I think I got it.
Yep. There it is. There it is. Very cool. And you're going to learn more about that when you watch our interview with Klingon Pop Warrior next Friday night at 9 p.m. Same Captain's time. Same
you know why, though?
Channel.
You know why?
Why?
Because someone has to go on a cruise.
Oh,
fancy. The Caribbean.
Yeah, he's a pirate of the Caribbean. Yeah. That's one of the places that I've never gone and always wanted to go. So I'm very jealous, Jason.
Good.
Stupid sound. You don't say you're jealous today because that's fuel for his ego.
Apparently.
My ego is just so happy right now.
No.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I did buy the internet package while I'm on board, so I can send you pictures.
Oh,
can we keep them waist up this time? Yeah, can we keep them waist up this time?
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Really, disturbing.
No.
I was in slow motion before. No. Oh boy. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of fun in the old DMs. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please share with at least 5 of your favorite friends, and then 5 of your least favorite friends, or maybe 5 family members, the amazing time that you had here in the Captain's Quadrant. We appreciate everyone. And because he is on a cruise on a different type of ship, that's Jason Roy Gaston right there. I don't know why I can't point. Okay, it just doesn't work. But that guy in the middle, this is a pre-recorded episode, as you noticed. So we haven't been hanging out with you guys in the chat, but I will be in the chat with you, as will VHS Jace. Jason Roy Gaston won't because he'll be too busy tanning on the boat.
Well, or eating. I won't be on the boat yet. I might be there. I don't know. We'll see.
Or he'll be at the buffet.
Don't you dare speak for me. Don't you presume.
Well, if you show up in the chat, it'll be great. We'll all have a good chat instead of doing a live episode from the boat. All right. And if you really enjoyed this episode and you really like hanging out with us in the Captain's Quadrant, please give us a like. And you can also buy merch. Yes, as you see on the wonderful head of Jason Roy Gaston and the amazing chest of VHS Jace, we have that's not funny.
It's the first time in life and you're usually surprised. That's one of them. I don't think my chest has ever been referenced to be amazing, but I'll take it.
Got the logo that you made. It's pretty fucking good. So be sure to visit the Captain's Quadrant .com, and then you will be able to buy some of our wonderful merch. The notes are down below and the podcast notes. You can click the link and buy some of the cool merch that we have. We have a lot of stuff that's pretty amazing. We also have Agony Booth and other fun merchandise that you can get and wear and share. So until next time, we'll see you next Friday with the interview, and we'll be back in the Agony Booth pretty soon. So
yeah, okay.
Oh my god.
What is this?
I hate you all. I hate you so much.
I love this.